Frequency. Chapter 5. A Little Talk.
You mean he actually ate it?
Yep, legs and everything.
Vinyl made a gagging sound, even as she turned her head to follow the motions of the scrubbing sponge and cleaning spray through her shower. The microphone was hovering nearby, its cord stretching taut towards the nearby door.
You couldn't pay me to try that.
I know!
Addie's playful laugh echoed into the bathroom, from the stool on which the radio sat just within the kitchen.
I told him I'm all for celebrating my heritage, but that's going a bit too far.
I've never heard of a pony eating spiders.
The very thought sent a shiver down Vinyl's spine.
Creepy things. A griffin might do it, but that's still just... no.
Mata said it was actually pretty tasty.
He can have all the spiders he wants.
Vinyl stepped back from the shower and turned on the faucet, using her magic to splash water on the tiles.
You've got one weird family, Addie.
Yeah, I did. What's that noise?
Just cleaning the shower.
Addie's trademark sigh of exasperation rose through the radio.
Still on the bathroom, huh?
Hey, give me some credit.
Vinyl stuck her tongue out.
I actually keep my bathroom a lot cleaner than the rest of my place. I use it regularly after all.
Right.
Addie's tone grew teasing.
How black is the water?
Only a little.
The liquid sloshing its way down the drain wasn't that black.
It's not a tenth as bad as the sink in the kitchen was.
Uh-huh.
It's true, honest.
Addie laughed.
Alright, fine, I'll believe you. I can't imagine you'd use it every night if it was that bad.
The faucet shut off, and Vinyl began spraying the tile with cleaner again, targeting the spots she'd missed the third time around.
I'm just glad this is the last room. Cleaning this place was a pain in the flank.
She focused on the work, noting how Addie had gone silent. There was no need to speak up. The pony sometimes left the radio for a few minutes. She had the water running again by the time Addie spoke.
Hey, you got any siblings?
Nope.
Vinyl focused her sponge on a particularly stubborn bit of grime in one corner of the shower.
I had to get my exciting stories on my own.
Really? Oh, that's too bad. I bet you would have had some funny sibling stories.
Not a chance.
She peered at the sponge, noting the gunk that had built up on it after several minutes of scrubbing. A glance at the corner showed it was still a little dirty.
I think I gave my dad enough trouble on my own.
Curiosity lacing her tone, Addie said.
You don't talk about your parents much.
Vinyl turned off the shower faucet and turned on the one in the bathroom sink, using her magic to pry the grime off the sponge. It was her last one, and she had no intention of going out to buy more when she was so close to being finished.
Vinyl?
Sorry, I'm a little distracted.
Vinyl pressed her tongue against her cheek and squinted at the sponge. She carefully worked her magic to not cut off too much of the springy mass.
There's not much to say about my parents, really.
So, where are they?
Dead?
Oh. Sorry, I shouldn't have...
Don't worry about it.
At last, a thin line of the sponge had been cut away, leaving the rest of it mostly clean and ready for use. She turned her attention back to the corner of the shower, jaw set with determination.
If you don't mind my asking...
Vinyl sighed and shook her head.
You want to know how they died?
No, forget it.
The sponge resumed its first scrubbing.
Dad died about 3 years ago. He had a stroke, nothing fancy. He was happy, which is all I care about.
Oh.
A long pause.
I suppose that's good?
It is.
A frown hit Vinyl's lips.
It's a lot better than my mom.
How so?
The sponge paused. Vinyl stared at it, her focus lost.
She put a noose around her neck and threw herself out of her apartment window. I was 4.
It was several seconds before Addie's voice rose over the static.
I see.
Dad left her because she gambled away all their money.
The scrubbing started again, this time with a little more force.
She got a lot of debt. Didn't help that she started using Pure.
Pure?
She raised an eyebrow, but recalled her promise and pushed down her frustration.
Pure poison joke extract. Not the distilled stuff in the sticks. This was the stuff ponies snort. I hear it does some bad crap to your brain.
I see.
Addie seemed to think on this.
Sounds like heroin. Or maybe cocaine?
Don't know about that. Bad stuff in general.
The sponge rose, revealing a pristine shower corner. Well, pristine compared to how it used to be.
Family debts, gambling debts, drug debts. The mayor made almost every bad decision she could. Apparently, she decided it was easier to just jump.
I'm so sorry, Vinyl.
She gave a derisive snort and flung the sponge into the trash bin.
I'm not. I'm glad I didn't get dragged down with her. Glad Dad had the good sense to leave and take me with him. He only barely managed to pay off the last of the debts she'd foisted on him before he died. And you can't imagine how grateful I am for that.
But I thought it was your mother who incurred the debts.
Well, yeah, but Dad still had to take care of the debts she'd gained while they were married.
She put away the near-empty bottle of cleaner and stepped back to study the bathroom as a whole. It all but sparkled, which made her smile.
Addie, you won't believe this, but I am officially done cleaning this place.
A huff of a laugh came from the speaker.
The bathroom or the whole apartment?
Vinyl rolled her eyes.
The whole apartment.
You're right! I don't believe it.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
Anytime.
As Vinyl set the radio on her back and worked to move the stool to its place in her tiny closet, Addie spoke up.
So your dad dealt with all the debts. Did you help with that?
You mean like getting a job?
Vinyl closed the closet door and took a moment to survey her newly pristine kitchen. The sight gave her a warm, pleasant feeling.
Nah, Dad wouldn't let me till I finished school. I stayed with my uncle till I was 12 while Dad worked 3 jobs trying to make the financial load manageable.
Wow, talk about determined.
A labor of love, as he called it.
She sighed pleasantly and returned the radio to the table.
Dad was a good stallion. He worked hard to give me an easier life. I might not be rich, but I'd be a hell of a lot worse if it wasn't for him.
Addie was silent for a few seconds as Vinyl sat on her cushion.
It sounds like you really admire him.
Yeah,
Vinyl let her eyes play over the fruits of her labor.
yeah, I do.
The room went quiet, save for the static. Vinyl wondered what was going through Addie's mind. The pony still hadn't revealed so much about herself, not really. It seemed a bit unfair, but Vinyl told herself to be patient. She rested her cheek on the table and sighed. After a long period of nothing, a frown abruptly took over her face.
Addie, we might have a problem.
We might?
Her eyes rolled up to the radio.
Now I need to find something else to do for the next 2 weeks while we talk.
Addie laughed yet again.
Maybe you can find a new hobby.
Maybe.
She sat up and rubbed her chin.
Or maybe I can work on that new album. Haven't touched it much in the last couple weeks.
You could. Maybe I can be your impromptu audience and tell you how bad it is.
Gee, thanks.
Knocks resounded through the apartment, bringing a flinch to the unsuspecting pony.
Hold on, Addie. Some pony's at the door.
Okay.
It was with no small amount of satisfaction that Vinyl didn't have to step over stuff on her way to the small hallway leading to the entrance. She never should have let the place get so messed up to begin with. Another knock came by the time she reached the door. Upon opening it, she was surprised to find herself gazing upon a very familiar blue-maned Pegasus. He offered her a charming smile, to which she could only stare loose-jawed.
Flash?
He grinned and reached under a wing, from whence he produced a loaf of sliced bread. How'd you like some toast? Her shoulders sagged.
Toast.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't remember. Cocking his head with a blush, he rubbed the back of his head. Vinyl eyed the bread in his hoof, then him.
I don't even have a toaster.
He shrugged. Hey, you're the one that asked for it. Her eyes once more danced from the toast to his face and back. At last, she face-oved.
This is about when you dragged my flank home from the club, isn't it?
Yep. The bread disappeared back under his wing. I made a promise. I know you don't remember, but I have every intention of keeping it.
You're right, I have no idea what you're talking about.
She considered him for a couple of seconds, but finally shrugged and stepped inside.
Come on in. You can explain things to me.
He did as he was told and let out a gasp as she closed the door. Sweet Spitfire on a spread, is this the right apartment? She raised an eyebrow and followed him into the kitchen.
What are you talking about?
Eyes wide, he stared at the bottom of his hoof, then touched it to the floor a couple of times. Look, it's not sticking! The reward for his mockery was a whack against the shoulder with an exasperated scoff, to which he only grinned.
Hold on, you jerk.
She went to the table and took the mic in her magic.
Eddie, this guy's gonna take a little time. Call you back?
Sounds good.
Addie replied.
I need to get some exercise in before bed anyway. Talk to you later, Vinyl.
I'm actually surprised she didn't introduce them. Anywho, let's get on to our musical donators. Top donators are 630, BadassWaffle, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, IronSky, and Jessie Smith. Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel, Sky, Saucer, Rolan, Stu, Hexstar, Brother, Mordred, Omicron, Library, Type 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Right Soul, Shadowmoon, Luigi, 88, Chancer, Crust, Big Smoke, 369, Bobcat, JJF, Murder Princess, and many more amazing people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.